Management practices necessary for snail production. These are the practices required of you to ensure proper management of your snail farm. You will be learning just how to handle the snails most suitably to ensure a thriving snail enterprise. Whether you are a startup in snail farming or an enterprise snail farmer, that is, you are an existing snail farmer, stay hooked here because there is something new to learn. I would say snail is one of the easiest production enterprise to run, being that it has minimal management practices to observe compared to other enterprises like poultry, like fishery, piggery, and other enterprises. So to raise and manage snail is quite easy. So some of the management practices to observe in snail production is make sure the house, the snail pen are smooth walls. These smooth walls will allow the snails to be able to crawl smoothly around. You know that is the means of movement of these snails. So it is essential to have smooth walls in place for easy crawling. There are instances where you do not have housing. If it is concrete or wood or metal, just make sure that the surface is smooth. For instance, when you have a pen from concrete floor, try as much as possible to have smooth flooring. And if it is wood, make sure that the wood is smoothing out to allow for easy crawling of the snails. The second point management practice to ensure is ventilation. It is very important for the snail pen or snail house to be properly ventilated, because there are instances where you have many snails in a limited space. If such is happening, then you should ensure that there is enough ventilation within the snail house. Snail house must be constructed not to allow direct sunlight into the snail pen. Snails, as we know, are nocturnal animals. So direct entrance or direct penetration of sunlight into the snail pen may prevent them from coming out to feed. And the more they feed, the quicker they grow. So you will want to prevent direct penetration of sunlight. And a way to prevent direct penetration of sunlight into the snail house is to plant trees over the snail pen, or to have the snail pen in a shaded area. It could be under a tree, or you could create or have a ladder or a tent, not a ladder now, a tent of twigs and leaves over the snail house as a source of shade. In cases where you cannot have your snail house under a tree, or maybe where you place the snail house is not where you could get a tree to place to keep the snail house, you could keep banana leaves inside the snail house, that is inside your snail pen, to be a form of shade within the house, such that the snails can crawl under the leaves and lay there for cooling effect. The snail house should be kept dark most times of the day, meaning the house should be kept close to as dark as possible to make the snails have the feeling of nighttime. Remember, they are nocturnal beings, they are nocturnal animals, and they are more active. They are very active in the night compared to the day. So you want to have the interior of the snail pen as dark as possible to create that nocturnal effect or appearance. Eggs that are laid in the snail pen must be moved before hatching to avoid stamping of those snails, the baby snails. Ants are a major predator that attack snails. It bites the snails them from and prevents them from coming out. Prevent the attack of snails in the snail pen. It is important to always keep the snail pen clean to prevent snail from coming there. Also, lubricants can be applied underneath the snail pen to prevent ants crawling over the snail pen. Lubricants prevent snails. Lubricant prevent ants from crawling all over the snail pen. Lubricants like engine oil and most oil-based lubricants can be used to prevent ants intruding into the snail pen. Rationing or knowing the ration of feed to present to the snail will allow you as the snail keeper to know the quantity of feed they can consume daily so as not to keep excess feed in the snail pen. When there are excess of feed in the snail pen and the feed are become leftovers, there is the tendency of ants coming to take some of those leftovers, attracting more predators to the pen. So it is important to know the ration to present to the snails daily. If the snail house is an open air cage or an open air concrete floor system, part of the house, the interior of the pen must be shaded. It could be shaded using wooden trenches, or it could be shaded using banana leaves to create that dark areas where the snails can hide and still be active even when the sun is up during the daytime. Seasonal management of snail. As we know, there are seasons or times of the year that is dry, the temperature will be high, and the humidity may be low, especially during Harmattan. At these times, the snail require more close attention. Reason being that snails perform well in high humidity, low temperature, and in not too dry season. So that is why at times during the dry season, it is advised that you sprinkle water over the snails to mimic rain so that the snails can think it is still the raining season with that sprinkle of water. It could be done twice daily, in the morning and in the evening, not when the sun. Don't do it when the sun is high up.